Hello, and welcome to the Labyrinth of Limitations. For this episode, I thought we would look at the idea of being in a rut and what that means, and seeing it in a positive way. So what I'm talking about is that feeling when you feel kind of stagnation, like boredom with the things you're doing. You've done it a lot and you feel like you just keep doing the same things. So if we stay within this wonderful world of ideas that Barry Harris has shared with us that allow us to explore in this really cohesive way, I find that that rut is like a sign that I am ready to hear more. And I can take things that I've already learned and just explore a little further, and I will find wonderful new possibilities that before I wouldn't have been able to kind of get my mind around or my ear around. But now I have internalized my older stuff enough that I'm ready to hear something new. So it's like a message from myself that I'm ready for that, and so I listen to that and I explore. So I'll take some examples here. One, this is a move that I do a lot, which I like. I'm happy with that move, but I also have explored it in all kinds of ways and not just that little thing, which is part of the idea here. Say I was only doing that a lot, and like say this is a B7 move in E major, like at the end of the bridge of All the Things You Are. So, you know. So if I were doing something like that and I just did it a lot, I could explore it by moving up or down the scale. That's one way that I can explore. I'll go to the next on chord, so the next iteration of C minor 6, which is the tritones minor of B7, which moves to E. So I'll go to, I have the root in the bass, now I have the 6 in the bass. And I have to analyze what the move is, which is shell chord, out to octave, to drop 2 with a borrowed note on top. And I often don't do a full drop 2, but I skip one of the notes, so as opposed to, because I just like the texture of that and it's easy to do. So, you see? Okay, so I'll do that at the next position then. So instead of having the root in the bass, it's the 6, which I already did. And now I'll do with the 5th in the bass. So that is, which is really pretty. I like that one a lot because it has this sharp 5, which is diatonic to E major. It's the 3rd of E major, so it's within the kind of key. It's not so out. But if I were doing this to a minor key, to E minor, it sounds pretty wild. So like say in Autumn Leaves, I did on the previous, on the 2 chord also, but this in a minor key because it's G sharp, right? You know, that would be a little more out, so it's really pretty. But that one, I'll do the major again. Whoops. Messed up my finger. That's nice. Then what about from the 3rd? Or that's nice, but that's nice. So like that. What about from the root? That's pretty. And then what about from I guess the 6. That's really pretty. I have to kind of contextualize by being down low. So maybe oh yeah, so you know, slow, but something to do. Then another thing would be to start from the off chords. So that would be, you got to get to the on chord before you go to E major. So I'm playing C minor 6 in the E major, because that's the tritones minor of B7. And I need to get on C minor 6 before I go to E major to have it feel right. So, so I add a little bit more emotion. Same thing. Work it out rhythmically. So that's it. So something like that maybe. Another thing is to add more movement around it. So what about this? That's pretty, because I wanted to hear. So what I'm going to do, instead of just retracing my steps, which would create that motion but be a little more boring to me, so that's just going shell to octave to drop 2 to octave to shell. But instead I'm going to go shell, octave to drop 2, which I'm playing incomplete, but then I'm seeing on the top end this shell chord, which I'm going to go to a triad to a third. So it's... So, what about doing the chromatic scale? So going, so that kind of works funny. Like I would do like that. Maybe like that kind of. And just a little bit of a chromatic scale. I'll do it from here. This is pretty like this. So, which is pretty. So we're using our ear and our mind to move things around. And if you're getting bored with one thing, you probably have something that's near it. And that's one of the key things I really encourage, doing something that's close to what you're bored with, but then push it and push it and push it until it gets really interesting to you, which is really nice. Of course, I can go up the neck. I could also, that's a variation to do too, is how I resolve it. I can resolve it in a bunch of ways. In that case, I resolve it to the major 6 and the 5 of E, which is B major 6. So I went C minor 6, which is pretty. So that changes things too. Adding more borrowings, all kinds of stuff. Starting from a different floor. So instead of starting from the shell, I could start from what everybody loves most, drop 2s. Of course, I could go drop 2, drop 3 to drop 2 and 4. Or I could do this move, which I like a lot, which is discussed in Taking the Elevator to Borrow from the Neighbors. So, and then I could go, whoops, so what about, I did that wrong. And then I could add that movement by similar type of concept. I'm looking at this, and I'm seeing this is a drop 2 type of structure, like this, just incomplete. So I'm going to go into an octave. So I'm going to go. Okay, so it's harder to do those types of moves. What about something smaller? So instead of starting from a shell, start from a, let's do a triad. So, and then, oh, I like that. And then, so that's going triad, triad, shell, octave with the borrowing. I want to do that like everywhere. That's so pretty. I'll do the next C minor 6. So it's and then so I gotta go. it's got to be this, something like oh, that's neat. So that's so that's doing that. That's triad to a shell, and then oh, never done that before. That's really nice. So all of those things are possible. So you know, and there's more. You can bridge over into scalar chords playing. I mean, into single note line playing, and then for that matter, this type of thinking can be done with single note line playing all the time. Of course, Chris is always taking like an idea and then replacing part of it, and that's a way of doing that. Replacing part of it, starting on the and. Same with this, I could start on the and. When I start on the off chord, I could start on the and and make it just really easy. So. Okay, so that's a thing, starting on the and, but starting on the and on the on chord, I don't know what that would be like. 1, 2, 3, 4, just has a slightly different feel as opposed to as a 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. So it's just those kinds of things, getting used to that. All kinds of stuff. So, and if you're sitting around and you're feeling stagnant in that way, well, ask yourself, what's something that I'm just really bored with, and how can I change it a little bit? And another thing I'll just add is that I'm always advocating these things to my students that they kind of don't want to do. Like, say, for example, if you're playing this scale, drop to C minor 6, up the neck, I think it's really, really important for us to be able to do this, to think these parts of the chord, right? It's the third, the sixth, the root, the fifth, and then it's the fourth, the major seventh, the 2 and the sharp 5, and then it's the fifth, the root, the third, and the sixth, sharp 5, 2, 4, major 7th, 6th, 3rd, 5th, root, major 7th, 4th, sharp 5, 6, and so on, root, 5th, 6th, and 3rd. We need to be able to think that stuff. And if you're feeling stagnant and you have anything like that you ever remember me talking about or something that you could do, I'd say that's another thing to do when you're feeling stagnant, is do that kind of stuff, because man, it opens things up. Because this, I see this shell chord, or I see this, and I see that this is the third, and I'm going to go down a half step, do some diminished notes, you know. So really seeing those parts of the chord is really important. But anyway, I hope that this has been helpful and inspiring. And the idea is, don't look at a rut as being a problem. See it as an opportunity. The rut is a window of opportunity. That means it's like yourself, your inner self is speaking to you and telling you that you are ready for more. You're ready to hear more in particular, and you will be able to hear more if you explore in this way, staying close to where the rut is and moving outward from it. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you guys soon, so keep practicing.